Shootout Pool, sponsored by mycatering.com.
Welcome back to Milton Keynes Sports Bar. We are live this afternoon in Milton Keynes for the latest in the Taom Shootout series, and the draw beginning to take shape. Just 3 more places up for grabs in tonight's quarterfinals. So without further ado, let's get the next players out. Somebody welcome, please. A real class act. He's Mr. Magic. It's Mark Boyle. And Mark's opponent has won just about everything there is to win. 4 world titles, twice a European champion, a former British, Home Nations and English champion. It's Andy Lucas.
Six of this afternoon session is another mouth-watering match. Andy Lucas, one of the best players in the history of the sport, versus Mark Boyle, one of the best players currently playing the game. Really is going to be a tough one to call. Fair to say that over the last year or two, Mark has probably achieved a fraction more, but Andy Lucas is still winning titles, and he has a CV that is the envy of just about everyone. And I think this is going to be a format that is going to suit him. This is Andy's first event in the shootout. The first time he's played under these conditions. He did qualify through to earn his place. Mark Boyle's second time he's played, having first appeared in Falkirk a few weeks ago, making it through to the semi-finals before losing to the eventual champion, Liam Dunster. It is going to be the Scotsman Mark Boyle to break, having won the lag. Well, a bit like the last frame of the last match, the first thing that happens is the white flies in, and then the black flies in as well, which saves the breaker, because Mark Boyle gets to break again. And all that's going to happen is we're going to waste about 30 seconds as we re-rack the rules.
Right back from the arena into the commentary position to the exciting news that our pizzas have arrived.
It could be a very quiet half an hour of commentary.
Yes, yeah, we might let this match breathe.
He's very close to potting the black again, but importantly this time the white stays on the table and he makes a ball, so he gets the first opportunity in this match. Opens up his first problem. Yellow and red and black are clustered together on the top of the table. They're developed now. He still would have to make that yellow along the top rail, but he may be able to make it as a plant to the top left. So his next problem is going to be the yellow on the bottom right. The one in between the 2 reds doesn't go. I think his plan was to travel a little bit further with the white and then be able to develop it. He hasn't come quite far enough, so he may have to go up the table to come back down. I question that shot choice, to be honest. The way he's played that with extreme check side to come off the bottom cushion, it just kills the pace in the white, and he was never going to be able to nudge that yellow far enough to develop it.
Yeah, that was a really tough shot to take on, wasn't it? Well, hello.
I can see why he's taken it on the way he did, because he didn't have great options up the table. may have just been able to pot the one past the black, but you couldn't hold for the other one. But that is an excellent opening shot from Andy. He can pot his ball, he can pot his opponent's ball as long as he pots his first, plays the skill shot. And that means he's developed the black, and now he has a table that he can attack. Another excellent shot from Andy. The first part of this clearance to open up the black needed to be an exceptional shot, and it was. But there was still plenty of work to do. Now that he's developed those reds on the right-hand side, it's really starting to open up. Doesn't want to be straight. Straight leaves him awkward. So he won't be able to get across to be able to get onto the red. He may have to leave this for a double now. The double it is. Double comes up a little bit narrow. I wouldn't have thought that Andy's played too many times on this table. This is a blackball table. He'd be much more used to the Supremes. And they do double differently, the way they react, the way they come off the cushion. Once you get used to them, you're more than comfortable. But I wouldn't have thought Andy would have played too many shots on the table. It's probably caught him out a little bit there.
Yes, no mistake at all, and first frame on the board. That's how things have been going today. We're getting towards a point where we can complete our quarter-final lineup for tonight.
Yeah, that top quarter-final is looking very tasty. Jordan Shepherd, the winner of the first 3 events, against the winner of our last event, Liam Dunster. And a dry break from Andy Lucas. It was a good break. He caught them really well and a really good split. Unfortunately, for him, it's going to be Mark Boyle that gets the opportunity to go for the clearance first in this frame. The red nearest the bottom right-hand corner pocket is the ball that's going to take the most working out. All the other reds, they have pockets. This red to the bottom left-hand corner is the obvious ball to get on to try and develop the bad red, but he's landed a bit too straight on it this time. Well, he's attempted to play a similar shot to the previous frame with lots of check side to try and cannon into the yellow. This time it's a bit more of a, the option is better, because if he gets the cannon on the yellow, it should develop the red nicely, but he's missed the cannon this time, and he's back into a awkward position.
Two real heavyweights of the game. It's had the look of a very, very good contest. 2 more matches in the last 16 to follow. Next up will be Matt Lawrenson against Darren McCarthy, match played in each shootout. Reached the semi-finals in Doncaster. And McCarthy playing in this, what will be his first event. And then last but not least, Emma Cunningham will take on Simon Fitzsimmons, former World Championship runner-up. Emma 4 times a World Masters, a European champion.
I so often talk about those little pots into the centre pocket and how awkward and tight they are, and the players tend to make them look easy. But this time Mark does miss it, and it shows just how tight these pots are. Just grazes the near jaw and stays on the table. And it was an excellent clearance to get to the black. Had to make a couple of developing shots to make it work, and really was a great effort to get that far.
It's a real let-off for Andy Lucas. It looked like he was going to behind. Taking these well.
He's grimaced because he's landed too straight. He just needed a bit more of a bounce.
Absolutely dead straight, so he's had to force it. No problem, the white will still be skipping away. But avoids the in-off. Times 2. And he's on the board. Is the racker. Andy Lucas levels. It's 1-1. And I think he enjoyed that.
Interesting story about his nickname, the racker, that he's wearing on his back. There's a lot of time and effort spent by players to look for their perfect cue, speak to different cue makers, get cues made for them. Andy was having none of that. He was struggling with his cue, so he's just gone to the club and pulled out a rack cue from the rack, and that was it. He was off. He was away, and he's been playing with it for 2 or 3 years now, and with great success. Slightly congested table for Andy to go at. The red on the right hand side is going to be tricky to get onto. There is enough space, but once getting onto it, it'll be difficult to play onto his next ball, so that's probably his biggest problem. And those 2 reds in the centre of the table aren't ideal either. And he's played for a plant into the centre pocket, which, if it goes in, will open up the other red that's in that little cluster of 4. And I have a feeling that Andy's thinking here is probably that the red on the side rail may well be his last ball. If he can land straight on it, then he doesn't have to do too much to get onto the black. Decided to try and move it. The problem with coming at it from the angle that he tried, I know that he's missed the cannon, but even if he gets the cannon, he's going to be knocking the red towards the little cluster of yellows, which isn't guaranteed to knock it into an open position. does have a chance to get onto this red, but it's going to require a really precise positional shot. In fact, he's taken that out by trying to play for it into the top corner instead of the bottom corner. And he's played that shot very well.
But he's missed that one.
Yeah, that whole visit was all about that red. The others he was able to work out, they weren't too hard to work out, but this red on the right hand side was a problem for him the whole way through the visit.
So the start of the long road back in frame number 3 for Mark Boyle. Well, he doesn't like that. Blocked our view of the cue ball, but as you can see, left it short. So, plan B. It's a lovely shot. Thought about it.
Yeah, similar to the black that he missed in the last frame, that's a similar sort of angle. Much better break from Andy Lucas this time. It did look a lot tighter than he looked confident, so I was sort of holding my breath thinking, well, this must go. It did look tight to me.
Nowhere near in the end.
Having played that shot and not taken reds, the reds have just opened up to be as simple as they could be for Mark Boyle. It's one of the rules with Blackball Rules that after the break it's an open table, and if you don't pot the ball then it stays open for your opponent. So when Andy's missed that red, it's just left the reds wide open, and Mark can come to the table and take them.
Midway point of the match, so the shot clock halves, down from 30 seconds a shot now to 15 for the remainder of this last 16 contest. Mark Boyle starting to turn the screw.
Although he puffs his cheeks, he's overscrewed that by quite a considerable distance. He's now thin on this red, which means he's guaranteed to cannon into these yellows. I don't think he can screw past them.
It's a fingers crossed job, I think. He's through. Where's the yellow going?
He's okay, but can he keep the white on the table? Can he avoid the in-off when he pops this black to the corner?
Oh.
Well, when I said in-off, I did not think the top right-hand corner pocket, but so close was he to going in-off on the centre pocket. Catches the bump and it flies into the top corner.
Oh, what a turnaround. Looked as though he was turning the screw for 3-1. Runs out of position. Great pot on the black, but in goes the white. And that's a gift in the end.
Yeah, you could class that as a little bit unlucky, but Mark will know that the bad shot was his penultimate colour. He just overscrewed it by a few inches and made the position onto the black really tricky.
There's a few down this time. Great split too.
And that's similar to Mark Boyle when he was breaking at his absolute best when he was dominating the IPA Tour a couple of seasons ago, winning 3 events out of 4, just breaking huge with that cut break frame after frame and making very light work of it after that. Attempting to get on the red to the top right-hand corner, which was easily his hardest red on the table, being blocked by that yellow. Hasn't managed to land on it. He's a little bit fortunate to still be able to see the one over the bottom right-hand corner. The position onto his final red was going to be very tricky from there, and he's landed nowhere again.
Yeah, so it was nigh on impossible, really. He was in no man's land.
A little bit of hit and hope, that's all you can do in those situations. Try and get a bit of movement on the red, try and hope to fluke it somewhere or mess the yellows up in some way. Hasn't really panned out for him. It's not finished too bad in terms of he's put a red near a corner, he's put the red near a corner and half blocked a yellow. But for a player of Andy's ability, you fully expect him to work around that problem.
I'm not sure Mark Boyle's going to be able to believe that he'll be 3-2 behind. Run out of position once in each of these last 2 frames. Cost him the last frame, looks like it's cost him this one too.
It looks a little straight on this yellow. He wanted to have angle to be able to get across the table for the yellow either into the same pocket or into one of the middle pockets. And he is on it, but it's not quite as nicely as he'd have wanted to be. It's travelled an inch further than I thought it had from the other camera angle, so he's okay.
Doesn't need to worry too much about the black, just make sure of the yellow, which he does. He's always going to land right on the black. And Andy Lucas is going to be 3-2 ahead here. And it looked, well, he was an inch or so away from going 3-1 behind. And there's the roar.
Quite hard to believe that he has got in front so quickly, having, as you say, looked like he was going 3-1 behind. A couple of gifts from Mark Boyle.
Well, they're all having good fun out there. You need to pace yourself though, ladies and gents. Going through till late tonight. Andy to break off this time. Red sinks to right corner. The singing continues. And the pool becomes a sideshow. So 8.5 minutes to go. And he knows if he adds this frame, then he's got 1 foot into the quarterfinals.
It's a bad miss, but it was the positional shot before it that was the really bad shot. Underhit it by quite a few inches, and that's what caused the problem. If he gets good position on those two at the top, then he's in really good shape for that 4-2 lead. The red up near the right-hand middle pocket will cause Mark a problem. It will go to the top right corner, but it's difficult to get onto it into the middle pocket. But he also has a problem with the red at the bottom end of the table. I don't think it goes to either corner pocket.
No, it certainly doesn't go to the right corner. Doesn't look as though it passes the yellow to the left corner either. So he's played with a lot of power.
That's brilliant. Just to give himself a shot at it, it's an exceptional shot.
Yeah, he's given himself a shot. It's a very, very difficult shot, but to power through behind the red took some doing. This needs real precision. And it's dropped. What a clearance when he needed it most. That's brilliant from Boyle. Quieted as the crowd, and we're back all square, 3-3.
That last positional shot he played was incredible, because he finished a little bit too straight on the ball in the middle pocket, and he actually had to pop that into the left-hand side of the pocket just to sort of create the angle. And you could see the way he played it as well, almost sort of punching the white in, not just straight topspin, having to sort of punch it through to create a wider angle for the white. The gap he was playing into was tiny. Incredible stuff.
That was a terrific finish. Very, very impressive clearance. 3-3, 6 minutes to go. Nothing doing.
Quite clever from Mark Boyle. He was at the table immediately. The balls hadn't stopped moving off the break, and he's still at the table eyeing it up. Hardest ball left for him would be the black. He's in a nice position for a double, but the way he cues the ball, I expect him to probably play on it down the cushion instead. There's no reds in the way, plenty of room to land on it down the cushion. And Mark Boyle, with a background on the professional snooker tour, is one of the players you sort of expect to make those shots down the rail the way he cues it really smoothly.
Yes, you can tell the snooker player from the cue action. He's taken these nicely. Still, of course, thinking about the black though. Rolling in the two yellows, not the issue. He's coming back to the top corner. This to steal the lead back. It's another great clearance. 2 in a row, and from 3-2 down, he now leads. 4-3, 1 away from victory.
The response to going behind for the first time was quite incredible by Mark Boyle. Those 2 finishes back to back, really high class stuff. It's why he's one of the best players in the world. Not just the ability to make those clearances, but the ability to do it under the most pressure. Just over 3 minutes for Andy, and he's got the opportunity. 3 minutes is long enough when you consider he's going to need 5 or 6 shots for the clearance. 6 shots for the clearance. 15 seconds a shot. He's got time.
Yeah, that was a big break, wasn't it? It really was. Oh, and he's played. It hasn't been unfortunate there. Can he get through past the red for the long yellow to the corner? No, he's playing the. Oh, that's a great shot. Playing the other yellow to the right corner. Played it perfect.
He's already eyeing up what he wants to do with the yellow by the black. I think he was playing on it there. I think he played that with check side, and it's just skidded on him and gone nowhere.
And that's led to the miss. He's moved the black, which is now locked in with the red.
Mark's going to be in no rush. Shouldn't really be giving too much thought about trying to clear this up. And screw the white into the bottom half of the table and play a really nasty snooker.
Yes, the shot clock now is a real problem for Andy Lucas. The main problem, of course, is that his opponent is at the table.
You could see Mark glancing to his left just to have a look, and there are big screens showing the shot clock and the match clock. So he was looking at it just to make sure he was using every possible second to slow the match down as much as possible.
And Andy's managed to go in off. So that feels now like that's probably it. A minute to go. Mark Boyle at the table in no rush with the 2 shots. Left the black a little bit closer to the pocket than he might have wanted.
Well, I think that's a poor choice of shot from Mark. He didn't need to be going for the finish. The black and red were tied up. Just keep them tied up. He's actually played a very loose shot, and now he's giving Andy Lucas some hope. Although
he's going to have about 15 seconds.
Yeah, and
if that.
And that yellow now sitting next to the red, it's probably not going to be possible.
There you go. He has 16 seconds. Needs a miracle. Got the double. Now, if you pot this, you deserve to be through. The Hail Mary doesn't come off. The handshake forthcoming from Mark Boyle, and he's got a big scalp. The racker is back on the rack. Andy Lucas is out, and it's Mr. Magic Mark Boyle who books place number 6 in this evening's quarterfinals. 2 matches to come, and we'll be right back.
Shootout Pool, sponsored by mycaring.com.